When you think of New York, what comes to mind first? Times Square, the Statue of Liberty, maybe that jaw-dropping skyline full of glittering towers. But have you ever stopped to think how that skyline came to be? How did that city evolve from a cluster of low-rise Dutch buildings to the forest of skyscrapers we see today? In the next few minutes, we are going to walk through that entire journey, from colonial brick houses to glass and steel giants. And I promise, by the end of this video, you will never look at New York the same way again. So grab your coffee, sit back, and let's take a trip to time. Let's rewind all the way to the 1600s when New York was still called New Amsterdam. Picture it, small cobblestone streets, wooden houses and simple Dutch-style buildings with steep gabled roofs. Nothing like the skyscrapers we know now. When the British took over and renamed it New York, the city began to grow. By the 19th century, brownstone started popping up everywhere. You know, those cozy reddish homes with staircase leading up to the front door. They became the New York style of that era. If you have ever seen Old Brooklyn or Harlem Street, you have seen that legacy. But here's a question for you. When did people suddenly start building upwards? The answer lies in two things: steel and elevators. By the late 1800s, technology changed everything. Steel frames made it possible to build higher, and elevators made it practical for people to live or work up there. New York saw its first skyscraper in 1885, the Home Insurance Building, though Chicago usually gets more credit for that one. But soon after, Manhattan joined the race to the sky. The early skyscrapers were inspired by Buick's Arts and Neo-Gothic styles. They weren't just tall, they were detailed, elegant, almost like vertical cathedrals. Think of the Woolworth Building, completed in 1913. People called it Cathedral of Commerce. Its intricate Gothic designs symbolize ambition and faith in progress. Can you imagine seeing that for the first time back then? It must have felt like humanity had conquered gravity itself. Then came the roaring 20s, and the race for height truly began. Skyscrapers became a competition. Who could build the tallest, the flashiest? In 1930, the Chrysler Building rose, an Art Deco masterpiece sparkling with chrome and pride. Just 1 year later, the Empire State Building claimed the crown. Built during the Great Depression, it was more than just a building. It was a symbol of hope. Even when people were losing jobs, this building stood tall, saying, "We will rise again." It held the title of the world's tallest building for nearly 40 years. Fun fact, did you know it took over a year to complete? Imagine that speed today. By the mid-20th century, the skyline had become a metaphor. New York wasn't just a city anymore, it was an idea. After the war, the style shifted again. The focus turned to simplicity and function. Modernism was in. Gone were the ornate carvings and decoration. Instead, glass, steel, and straight lines took over. The Seagram Building, designed by Ludwig Mies van der Rohe in 1958, became a turning point. Its clean design, minimalistic, sleek, honest influenced architecture around the world. And then, of course, came the Twin Towers in the early 70s. Massive, rectangular, minimalistic, representing the confidence of an economic powerhouse. They defined Lower Manhattan for decades, until that tragic day in 2001 when the skyline changed forever. After 9/11, New York faced an architectural and emotional reckoning. But out of tragedy came rebirth. The One World Trade Center, completed in 2014, stands not just as the tallest building in the Western Hemisphere, but as a symbol of resilience. And today's skyline, it's constantly evolving. From ultra-thin luxury towers along Billionaires Row to environmentally conscious designs like the Edge and Hudson Yards. The city continued to reinvent itself, mixing heritage with innovation. Every decade, it writes a new chapter in architectural history. So, what's the secret? Why is New York's architecture so loved and studied worldwide? Because it's not just all about building, it's about stories. Every brick, every steel beam, every windows tell a story of ambition, diversity, and resilience. New York's skyline is like a timeline. You can literally see history written in its shapes. From Dutch colonial houses to the glass skyscrapers, it mirrors the evolution of human dreams. So next time you walk through New York or see it in a movie, look a little bit closer. You are not just seeing buildings, you are seeing centuries of vision. If you enjoyed this deep dive into New York's architectural history, give this video a thumbs up and do let me know in the comments section which New York building inspires you the most. Thanks a ton for watching, and until next time, keep looking up.